All right, we're going to try the One Feather Tale of Miss Gertrude McFuzz on ukulele. And I don't know how much experience you have on stringed instruments, so I'm going to kind of start at the beginning, but I'm also going to go kind of quickly in case this is a review. So if you need anything slowed down, then just let me know. We can go over any of these concepts. These metal bars across here are called frets. And when we say that we want a finger on a fret, that doesn't actually mean that we want the finger on the fret. It means we want it slightly behind or slightly away from your body, but really close to the fret. So the strings are counted from the bottom to the top, from the ground to the ceiling, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the one that is closest to your face is the fourth string. That's why all these graphs that we're going to be using over here have a little smiley face over here. This is string 4, 3, 2, and 1. So if I said, for example, that I wanted you to put your finger on the first string, third fret, that would mean that we'd be on the first string, and the third fret would be not there. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. So you'd put your finger right there. So that would be 1, 2, 3. And again, we're not going to put it on the fret literally. We're going to put it, as I'm drawing it here, kind of right behind the fret. There, a little bit away from your body, but really close to the fret. So that right there, actually, if we play all the strings just like that, that is what we call a C chord. So that's the very first thing we need to be able to play is a C chord. It's just one finger in there, not too terrible at all. And in fact, all the chords in this song, this is in the key of C, in case you know what that means. If you don't, that's fine. It just means we're in luck. And this, in comparison to other like theater musical songs that usually have a lot of chords in them, this one doesn't have too many. So we're kind of in luck here. This is definitely something you can do. So the very first thing we're going to play is a C chord. And this first line right here is like during the do-do-do-do-do part. It's not like during the lyrics section. So that's why it's kind of separated from the rest. But that's our C chord. The next one we're going to do is maybe the most difficult to create. So if you can do this one, you can do pretty much all of them. What we're going to do is start by putting our middle finger on the first string on the second fret. So the string that's the one's closest to the ground, farthest away from your body. We're going to put our middle finger right there on the second fret, or close to the second fret. The ring finger is going to come in on the next string on the third fret, so it'd be right there. And then your pointer finger is going to come all the way across and be on that fret right there on the second fret, just like that middle finger was. So that's going to be our G chord. And if you can make that one, the difficult part is transitioning between the chords, not actually playing the chords themselves. So once you add a new chord in and you know how to play it, then go back and practice just going back and forth between them, because playing the chords is pretty much automatic once your fingers are in the right position. But switching back and forth between them and getting there on time is the big deal. And you can probably see from my fingers, I'm doing as little movement as possible. So in my mind, like a G is not about putting a finger there and putting a finger there and putting a finger there, but it's more just like this shape that just kind of like lands right there. So even if I didn't have like a guitar in my hand, like that shape right there is just like, that's the G shape. So that's the ultimate goal. For right now, you got to put individual fingers down, but the goal is going to be just that it kind of feels like all of your fingers are going to their position at the same time, because it's just a shape that you're making. So we got a C chord to a G chord, and then after that, we're going to play an A minor chord. So an A minor chord is also just one string, one fret, one string, just like the C chord, except it's going to be on the opposite side. It's going to be closest to your face on the second fret. I'd recommend that you use your middle finger, because if so, we can reuse this position for another chord that we're going to need to play. So it's on the second fret on the string closest to you, the fourth string, and we play all of them. And then just like before, we're going to go back and then practice transitioning from the C to the G to the A minor. And hopefully this is already kind of starting to sound like the song. Once you can transition between all those smoothly. And the next chord that we need is an F chord. That's the last one in that line with the do-do-dos. And the F chord is just like the A minor chord. I'm going to erase this here, but if you need to go back in the video and check out the A minor, that's cool. This F is going to be the same as the A minor, but we're going to put the pointer finger in right there. And you're pretty much done with the song at this point. It's just a matter of putting all the chords in the right positions. There's only like one or two other chords we need. So the C to the G to the A minor to the F. That's all the do-do-do-do-do part. And then we move on to the next one. So this is where the lyrics actually start here. You've already played the C. The next one's going to be G. And then the next one's going to be A minor. And then we have a C7, which is maybe even easier than a C, because all we're going to do is we had a C. If we want to turn that into a C7, we're going to bump that back 2 frets. If we play that right there instead, that's that right there. So that's our C7. So again, all of these chords in order. I'll just do the second line. C to G to A minor to C7. Then we're on to the next line, which is F to a C, and then a D6. So this one is going to take a little bit of muscle. You're going to take your pointer finger and just go across all of the strings on the 2nd fret right there. And if you need to double up with your finger, that's a pretty common thing. Technically, it's bad technique, but whatever. We're just trying to get through this song. So being right on that 2nd fret, or right behind it, that's going to be our D6, and then the G. And again, transitioning between all these chords is the tough part. So cut yourself a lot of slack. That's where all the practice happens, is trying to remember what in the world is that shape, and then remembering it and getting to it on time. The last 2 lines are going to go C to a G to an A minor to a D7. Now, the D7 is going to be just like the D6, where we have all of that, but we need one additional note in here. And I'm going to go ahead and chart this one out for you. So the D7... I really wish we could play a D6 there. You could probably get away with it, but it's going to sound significantly better with that just one more note right there. That's kind of the important note of like the whole chord there. So that's the D7. And then the last ones, you already know them. It's F and a C, and then F, 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 C. So a little bit of a break between the 2nd and the 3rd F. F, 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 C. And if I play all of those in that order along with them, it would sound something like this.
Love Song for Horton, number 4, 127.
C, G, A minor, F, C, G, A minor, C7, F, C, C6, G, C, G, A minor, D7, F, C, F, 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 C. I think that's all you need to know. So that's all of the chords, and hopefully that sounded great. And you're like, yeah, cool, I can do that. Because then I'm about to tell you that if you've already played ukulele before and that was super easy, or if you just really want to know the truth, there's extra chords. So if we take a look at these two, the black version versus the red section, the black section has a couple extra chords. So on the 2nd line here, this is the 1st line of the lyrics, because again, all of this top stuff here is just the do-do-dos. So the 2nd line has this additional chord in here, that G minor. And it's not really that important, but the band that's playing, the band that's playing behind her, has a G minor in there before they go to the C. So I'll graph out the G minor for you. And if you want to just like forget this and rewind the video and go back and learn the other version, that's totally cool. If I were you, that's what I would do. But if I were me and I were playing this song, I wouldn't play the red version. So I just wanted to be honest with you about what's going on there and what your options are. So for the G minor, we're going to have this same finger right here, but we're going to have this one and this one. This is going to be your middle finger right there, and this is your ring finger. So that ring finger is still in that same position. It's just the middle finger going from the G to the G minor. The difference between the two is that the middle finger's come up and taken over that, so that the pointer finger can come back and catch that one right there. So that's a G minor. And the good news is that what that goes to is the C7, and the G minor and the C7 are the same chord with the exception of those two fingers. So G minor, C7. So just take those two fingers off and you get the C7. But again, none of that is necessary. This next thing is where things kind of get crazy. So this line right here has some changes. Fortunately, this third line right here is going to have 0 changes. So if you're wanting to do the black version, that third line stays exactly the same. Then this one is also going to change. So let's take a look at this second line. We've got an F. You already know that one. And then an E minor is going to be this thing right here. Let me go back to our graph. I'll give you an E minor right here. So E minor is going to be 3 strings, 3 frets, all starting on that second one. And it's kind of a natural position. That doesn't mean it's easy to play, but it's not like all crammed up like that G is. That's a really awkward thing for your hand to do. This is kind of a natural position. It's just kind of the way your hand would naturally fall. You just gotta make sure you're on the right strings and the right frets. So that's an E minor, and then after that we're gonna want an A. So I'll come over here, and actually I don't want to change the G because I think we're coming back to the G in a second. So over here, I'll show you the A. We didn't even use this one. So the A is going to be just like the A minor. That was A minor, except we're going to throw in this one right here, and that's an A. So that's A major. And then D right here is going to be 3 in a row on the second fret. So it's going to be like the A minor was. It's essentially, you know what, it's like the D6. Let's go back to that one. So we had this D6 that was right there, but the problem is we want this thing to be open right here. So you got to like play that one that you had, the D6, but break part of your finger off. So that first string can play there. So I'd probably play it like that. But if you want to use 3 fingers to go 1 finger per string like that, that's probably a safer way to do it. I'd play it like that with just 1 finger. But they all sound exactly the same, so it doesn't matter at all. So that's the D. What else do we have? Please, not much more. The C, the third line is exactly the same, so that D7 is going to be the same. And then this same nastiness comes back here with the E minor and the A's and all that stuff. So we go E minor on the very last line, E minor to A. I need to show you the D minor because you already know the F, the G, and the C. So the D minor is going to be just like the F. Let's go back to here. So the F was that thing right there. So D minor is going to be the exact same thing, but we're going to throw in that finger right there. And now it has become a D minor. So that's D minor, and then F, G, C. So that last line here is going to be F to E minor, A, D minor, F, G, C, F, E minor, F, E minor, A, D minor, F, G, C. It's harder to say than it is to play for me, but yeah, cool. So then let me show you what that would sound like with all of this. Again, running through all those chords, we've got C, G, A minor, F. And that's the do-do-do part. And then I'm just going through this because there's a good chance that when I start playing it, I'll forget to say the chords out loud. C, G, A minor, G minor, C7, F, E minor, A, D, to G7, to C, to G, to A minor, to D7, to F, E minor, A, D minor, F, G, C. And it would sound something.
Love Song for Horton, number 4, 127.
C, G, A minor, F, C, G,
Gertrude McFuzz, and she had the smallest plain tail ever.
G7,
One droopy
C,
droop
G,
feather, that's all that she had.
D7.
And oh, that one feather made Gertrude so sad.
So anyway, like I said, I would probably just ignore all of that and come play this red section over here because it's unnecessarily complicated over there, and they're both going to sound probably honestly equally good if you're playing along with the track. If it was like a solo, the black part might sound slightly better, but for the amount of work that it would take to get there, it might not be worth it. Unless you've already played a bunch of this stuff before and this is all review, and then in that case, go for the tough one. But whatever you need, let me know if you get any questions about it, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.